This is going to be a metagame prediction video based on what's coming out in Dark Neostorm, kind of to sway you in a way that, depending on where a ban list goes, kind of what we're predicting pre-ban list to be the meta after Dark Neostorm. I know it seems like a waste of a video, but a lot of people like to ask me things like this. You better like this video and show some love for this discussion about where we're kind of expecting a metagame to go, especially on a passive ban list and predictability. So let's dig on into this discussion, shall we? Alright, so this is a no-brainer, but we are still expecting Salamangreat to be sitting at the dinner table. This one's pretty straightforward because the deck is incredibly budget. We have Signet Mining coming out right around the corner. The only real crazy thing that we could see would be Gazelle going to 1, but the question you have to ask yourself at that point is, if you limit Gazelle, then you have the situation where I just put in 3 Signet Mining, and then I just go search for my 1 of anyway. Like, it doesn't do anything to hurt the deck. I actually would think you would need to go after some counter trap card, but that's discussion for another day. But we are definitely predicting Salad to be sitting at the dinner table for pretty much a long time. I don't see any real change to the metagame in terms of Salad's performance. Maybe a little bit techier things, maybe a little bit more explosiveness, because Signet Mining just adds that extra layer of consistency to the deck. And honestly, an extra layer of consistency definitely isn't a bad thing, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Almost feels like Ash gets a little bit better in that matchup, because ashing the Signet Mining actually is pretty cute. And I mean, the deck's already a combo-oriented deck anyway, so obviously things like DD Crow, Effect Veiler, all these well-timed hand traps at certain points can put you in a winning position. So, yes, Salad going to continue to sit at the dinner table. No real change even after a ban list, I would expect. Like, you have such a highly consistent deck as it is, and I don't know, like, the deck's power structuring seems just, the deck has problems going second, we know that, but that's discussion for another day. 6 cards really does help, though. Who knew? Now, also on this list, we have Orcas. Now, we've already seen pre-Dark Neostorm Orcas everywhere. I've talked about multiple times Orcas going in to this ABC deck, Blackwing Orcas, and everybody's like, oh, well, yeah, the Orcas engine is this generic engine up to this point that you've literally, you splash two and then 2 Orcas Nightmare. It's like Symbol Skeleton, Harp Horror, 2 Nightmares, and maybe the Wand, and then you have Galtea and company, and you're able to, like, Boral Sword OTK your opponent. Alright, these are just literally 4 to 5 cards that you splash into an already consistent engine, and you have OTKs. We did it. Now, Dark Neostorm adds the rank 8 and adds the counter trap card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Our friends at the Orcas Academy are going to get these random OTKs, and I'm not looking forward to it. Life is strange, I know. But when... what am I supposed to do? When every deck has the ability to just OTK you out of left field, there literally is nothing that you can do. Like, what are you supposed to do as a player when you've got this bullshit OTK that's just like, oh, hey, by the way, like, you can't do anything about it. Like, my 2-card combo go. Like, any 2 cards get you into your Nightmare, get you into your Mermaid, discard 1. Haha, we did it. Like, so, yeah, Orcas is going to have a much higher representation. Unless they do something strange on the list, we already know they're not going to touch Mermaid. So, do expect Orcas in a high representation. Now, next up on this list is Chainburn. And I think a lot of people have wanted to not think about this. So we're getting that field spell called Mashodo, and it'll subject to change in the TCG. And it says if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, your opponent cannot activate monster effects or declare attacks. If you control more monsters than your opponent does, you cannot activate monster effects or declare attacks. And then once per turn during the end phase, if you control exactly the same number of monsters as your opponent, destroy this card. I expect this card to be limited to 1 sometime in the near future, because when you have an engine like this that can be just blatantly abused in Chainburn, you've got this, it's... Nobody wants to play against Chainburn. Even my Chainburn player at locals apologizes to us and says sorry every time he plays us. Alright, like, it's the life that you choose when you play this deck. And I'm personally, I think what we're going to have to deal with Chainburn getting the chance to reset with everybody, nobody wants to deal with Chainburn. Like, we have enough burn cards now that it's actually kind of scary good, come to think about it. Like, I believe the YOT in Japan, or in Malaysia actually, just had Chainburn top, which was relatively interesting for the most part. But we're going to see a resurgence of Chainburn. A lot of people are going to want to sit down and get the chance to play these decks because, well, you know, Chainburn players budget deck. I mean, unless Mashodo is a secret rare and is going to cost a lot of money, I just don't think that people are going to want to take the time or the effort to want to do it. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a deck that you're going to have to deal with. Now, brings me to my next interesting point here. Stun decks are going to get a huge boost. This includes True Draco. This includes Sub-Terror, Stun, all because of Manhunt. And here's the thing about Manhunt that everybody has to understand. This is a Widow Anchor that takes control of the monster. Granted, I can't attack with it. Doesn't really fucking matter if I get the attack with it or not. It gives me a link material. Alright? In slower decks that normally don't have access to link material, it's already insane. I also get to move... Oh my god, this card does so much. I get to move the monster off of your field, which means I can attack directly at this point with other monsters I have, except for the one I take. I get to negate your monster effect and, you know, not have to deal with that. And if you summon a higher link monster, you've given me a higher link monster. This card does so much for all of these tier 1.5 decks that it's actually incredibly scary. I recommend that for the most part you have all of this stuff picked up, because if you are caught not... Manhunt's going to be a secret rare. We almost have a straight feeling about that. You know, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to eat my shorts if it's wrong, but like, the card is so good, it doesn't make sense to be anything less than that. So yes, you can bet your ass every stun variant is going to get this huge power up, and you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to play against this deck, just like I don't want to play against Chainburn. Like, can't wait to get Sub-Terrored out of my mind because my opponent opened up Manhunt. Can't wait to play against True Draco and watch them have actual disruptions against me, because that's the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright. Last thing I want to point out here is the Assault Mode engine. Now, I think that this is interesting because the OCG was trying really weird things with Assault Mode as like a little tech engine. Now, I don't understand or know if we are going to go down the same path as this. There are a lot of things coming out in Dark Neostorm that could potentially sway a predictable metagame. But I think our wild card is literally how the OCG was approaching the Assault Mode engine and trying to use the Psychic Frog as an extender with Orcas. Now, I believe that this will probably tie into somewhere in the Orcas archetype, maybe as another starter engine for Orcas in general. But I like wild cards, and I do think having a wild card that can kind of shock us might not be a bad thing. We could probably see an expandable combo deck whose existence comes straight from having the assault engine being used. I mean, you don't actually play like good assault mode cards. This is just, it's a tech engine. We're kind of looking forward to seeing where this goes, depending on a ban list, depending on key card choices and things like that. You know, it could spice up our format a little bit, you know. We always got the flavor flav. I was going to talk about the World Chalice Myco and how much I actually hate my opponent being able to search Succession at will, but you know, that's also kind of in the same category as this. You also have these unknowns that will be played in these combo decks that literally just make your life easier, like combo extenders. They're great, right? We all love them. So, hypothetical things to look forward to, depending on where a format goes. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts. And well, guys, I'm out for this discussion. Peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.